to another Just 5 Mins. It's the Flotsam and Jetsam episode. And if you've ever seen any TV episodes, okay, I watch way too much sci-fi, but I'm sure it's not just limited to that. There's always those filler episodes, where there's a TV crew comes onto a space station and interviews people. And it's a filler episode, but there you go. Well, that's what this is. Okay, so it's a bit of Flotsam and Jetsam. Okay, a few things really, and I'll drill into one of them in another episode actually, because I think it's quite interesting. But this one is just some Flotsam and Jetsam collected off the internet, and one of them was a review of how sort of like systems really do scale. And again, not affiliated with Amazon Web Service in this case, but it isn't Azure for once. But I'm sure there's a similar thing on Azure. This is to do with Amazon DynamoDB. Okay, so Amazon DynamoDB is a little bit, if you've heard of Cosmos DB on Azure, it's got a similar flavor and fragrance to it. I think that's the word I was thinking of. Excuse me, I had to cough there, and I didn't really want to cough on the microphone. You could say, well, why don't you just edit that out? But there you go. Laziness. Anyway, DynamoDB, very much like Cosmos DB, where it's or even, crikey, what's those other ones? I've just forgotten half of them. CouchDB, MongoDB, of course, anything with those key value pair sort of databases. Okay, but the Amazon one, it was just an interesting article I read. It's going back to 2021, but there was a 66-hour Amazon Prime Day shopping event, apparently, and trillions of API calls were made to the database, which is running behind it, Amazon DynamoDB in this case. So a NoSQL database. Okay, but it's quite incredible, though, really. The peak load to the database, goodness knows what the cost is, I'm not even going to go there, but the peak load to the database reached 89 million requests per second. Okay, let that sink in. 89 million requests per second. I know this isn't just that even special anymore, because there's so many systems like this get hit, but I just was thinking, how 89 million requests per second. So obviously, a system has to be architected well, but still, to rely on that, again, what the cost would be, who could tell? But yeah, it provides single-digit millisecond performance while maintaining high availability. Crazy. I could put a link to the main article, but that's part one. There is a bit of a deep dive into DynamoDB architecture, which again is very similar, I think, to the Cosmos DB, which is very similar to MongoDB, which is very similar. Anyway, you get the idea. But the other little bit was rest in peace prompt engineering. Okay. Oh, I was just getting into that as well. I was just I was going to become a prompt engineer. But never mind. I think we still will be. But anyway, this is an article from the Neuron, which is a newsletter I subscribe to. I'll put the links below again. But this is where an AI is actually redoing it's a bit like the Lang chain, if you've heard of the Lang chain process. I'll try to find some links there, where instead of doing a one-shot, as they call it, sort of request on your AI prompt, you can do few shot, multi-shot. It's all to do with how it analyzes the results and all that type of stuff. But this one, and I think it's Anthropic. If you haven't heard of Anthropic, it's one of the other big players in the AI world. Obviously, there's lots of them out there now. But Anthropic's meta prompt is quite an interesting one. So it can actually it basically can prompt itself, learn, reprompt it till you get the right sort of right data that you want. But anyway, I will have a look, because in 2023 the World Economic Forum declared prompt engineering as a #1 job of the future. Yeah, it could be a little bit overrated that anyway. But this meta prompt, I'll put the links below. That looks quite interesting. I can't give it enough credit talking about it in, well, we've already gone over 5 minutes, but yeah, I'll put the links in because that is really quite interesting how and why and what they're doing. And the final thing, but I am going to do a separate JFM for this one, is Obsidian, the note-taking app, which I looked at 2 or 3 years ago, maybe a little bit long. It's not been around that long, but it was just really quite a basic sort of like a text editor, I thought. Not text editor, like a note taker. But it uses Markdown. But anyway, I'm going to leave that as a tantalizing snippet there because, as I say, I'm going to do just 5 minutes purely on Obsidian and why I think it's quite an interesting thing to look at. But right for now, I'm going to say wish you well, and we'll catch you on the next one because I'm way over the 5 minutes again. But take care, and we'll catch you next time.